Waking up with Jeff and Bill.
She's Bill Thorpe. It's Monday.
Waking up with Jeff and Bill. Waking up with Jeff and Bill.
710 KNUS in Denver.
AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range. This is the Jeff and Bill Show where you hear both sides. Billy, a rainy Monday morning.
Rainy a little bit yesterday, too. It's kind of nice.
Monday.
Yeah. It's kind of nice, though. I love the rain. It's kind of.
We're definitely of the age where we appreciate the moisture.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And my dog, it's kind of funny because she does this a lot when it's very snowy. She really does it snowy, but rain, she does it a little bit where she's not expecting the rain, and so she comes out and she has to go potty in the morning as we come downstairs, and she gets that back door opened up, and she's like, okay, alrighty, and it just kind of like gears herself up, like, okay, it's wet, ready, go, and then runs outside, and then runs back in really quickly afterwards. She does.
That's how a lot of us are.
Oh yeah, a lot of us do that. Yeah.
Yep, that's exactly right. Well, good morning, Colorado. We have an incredible lineup for you today. We're going to talk with Tina Peters' attorney on the commutation that landed Friday afternoon for Tina Peters. We're going to talk with Tina's personal friend, Dee Valdez Pepper, coming up here in a bit. I mean, this is wild, and I want to hear from you. I've got to pull up on X right now. Was the commutation of Tina Peters by Jared Polis a good move? Was Jared Polis correct in commuting her sentence? Yeah. And I've heard from lots of sides of this, including Democrat candidates for statewide office calling for now a special legislative session in an effort to impeach Jared Polis for doing this. Why are Democrats so fired up? Was Jared Polis correct to commute Tina Peters' sentence? Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line at 720-819-5115. We're going to talk with Victor Marks in the 8 o'clock hour, Lauren Boebert in the 8 o'clock hour, Dr. Frank Turek, one of the men to be with Charlie Kirk in his final moments, be joining us in the 9 o'clock hour, plus Molly Lamar on all the scandal in Cherry Creek School District. I mean, this is one of the wildest shows I think we've ever had. You got to be with us all 4 hours. So jump in, be a part of the conversation as well at 303-696-1971. Text us at 720-819-5115. Now is time for the news.
Hang on here.
We're still doing the...
Yeah, there's something that, change here.
Studio
and,
dance.
Here we go. Let's do this. This should be the news sounder. Let's see what happens. Hold your breath.
Blake Olson, news and comment.
Hey, good Monday morning. 45 and drizzle. Nice little rain overnight. A little chilly out there right now. 43 in the Springs. Expecting highs in the upper 40s today. News sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning. For a new home heating and cooling system, contact your Lennox dealer, Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at pastorcamp.com. Conditions apply. See dealer for details. Our top story, a suspect is dead after an officer-involved shooting in Douglas County on Sunday. Sheriff Darren Weekly says deputies arrived quickly after a child's 911 call reported a violent assault, and what they encountered escalated in seconds.
Almost immediately, the deputy that responded to the scene announced that the male had a gun.
The child reported a man assaulting his grandmother at a Franktown home. When deputies arrived, a woman ran from the house as officers surrounded the residence before a man came toward the back door armed. Shots were fired, and investigators found the man dead inside after using a drone to clear the home. They're now working to determine whether the fatal shot came from law enforcement or was self-inflicted. No one else was hurt. A wildfire in Oklahoma crossed state lines into southeastern Colorado, and the town of Campo has been evacuated. Governor Polis declared a disaster emergency for the area. They're calling it the Sharp Fire, and it's reached approximately 30,000 acres and burned, 5%. It's at 5% containment early Sunday evening. An evacuation shelter has been set up at Springfield schools. According to Aurora police, an Aurora man was arrested in connection with the death of a 4-year-old on Saturday at about 10 o'clock at night. Police responded to an apartment on East Tennessee after reports that a 4-year-old was unconscious and not breathing. Aurora Fire Rescue paramedics performed life-saving measures on the child. He was taken to the hospital where he later died from his injuries. Police observed that he had significant injuries. Evidence was collected leading to the arrest of 24-year-old Alexander Martinez Armstrong, who is not the boy's father. President Trump is warning Iran again in a post on Sunday morning. Trump said the clock is ticking for Iran. He added they better get moving fast or there won't be anything left of them. Trump concluded by saying time is of essence. An investigation is ongoing after 2 military fighter jets collided during an air show in Idaho. The weekend air show was being held near the Mountain Home Air Force Base, about 50 miles outside of Boise. All 4 Navy pilots were able to eject, which is absolutely incredible. Avalanche continued to prepare for the start of the Western Conference Finals. That starts on Wednesday once again. Game 1 versus the Golden Knights of Vegas. Rockies lose to the Diamondbacks 8-6. They've won 18 games so far this season. Play host to the Rangers tonight. Start a new series at 6:40. 43 in the Springs, 45 in Denver, and that's the latest. I'm Blake Olson. More of the Jeff and Bill Show ahead on News Talk 710 KNUS in Denver, and now on AM 1460 and FM 101.1 The Answer in the Springs. This is where you hear both sides. We are the Jeff and Bill Show.
We're under a freeze watch for late Monday night through Tuesday morning. Areas of rain and snow mix possible towards morning. Overnight lows upper 30s and lower 40s. Monday, rain, maybe mixed with some thunder and wet snow at times in the afternoon with highs only low to mid-40s, brisk northeast winds. Monday night, a chance of snow showers, then clearing late. Lows upper 20s, possible freezing temperatures. Mostly to partly cloudy Tuesday and cool, highs near 50 with a chance for a few showers and thunderstorms. I'm day weather meteorologist Don Day. And cloudy Tuesday, a few lingering showers, highs only 40s and low 50s. Showers Tuesday night, cloudy upper 30s, a chance of showers and thunderstorms Wednesday, highs near 60. And we've got more opportunities for spring precipitation with some showers and thunderstorms as we head on into Thursday and Friday. Although as we get into Friday and the weekend, temperatures will trend warmer. I'm day weather meteorologist.
Rocky Mountain Regional Auction happening June 23rd. Inventory is housed at Ritchie Brothers locations in Denver, Salt Lake City, and Williston, North Dakota, with in-person inspections available. Bid on construction equipment, heavy
Memorial Day deal for all of our listeners at Mountain High Appliance. Showrooms all throughout Colorado save up to 40% and $750 in exclusive local rebates, price match guarantee, stainless steel kitchen packages starting at $1,999, stainless steel dishwashers starting at $369, freezers, all you hunters out there, starting at just $199. Also, save up to 70% on all of your favorite brands at the Denver Clearance Center. 70%. Professional delivery and installation, trusted local appliance experts. When you think appliances, think Mountain High Appliance. Visit mountainhighappliance.com. Billy, here's the letter. You ready? This happened
Yes, I am.
Friday afternoon. Dear Miss Peters, from the governor, I'm writing to inform you that I am granting your application for a commutation. After learning about your case, I am commuting your sentence by granting you a limited commutation such that your total sentence, inclusive of time in county jail and the Department of Corrections, is commuted to 4 years and 4.5 months, and you shall be released on parole effective June 1st, 2026, with terms and conditions of parole to be set by the parole board. My decision today is based on the circumstances of your case alone. My decision is not to be taken as a judgment on the wisdom of your convictions or a statement about any particular aspect of our criminal justice system. You are sentenced to 6 months in county jail and 8 years and 3 months in the Department of Corrections for a total sentence of almost 9 years. The crimes you are convicted of are very serious, and you deserve to spend time in prison for these offenses. However, this is an extremely unusual and lengthy sentence for a first-time offender who committed nonviolent crimes. I agree with the principle highlighted by the Colorado Court of Appeals in your case that the First Amendment generally prohibits punishing someone for their protected speech. A court may not punish an individual by imposing a heavier sentence for their exercise of First Amendment rights. A sentence based to any degree on activity or beliefs protected by the First Amendment is constitutionally invalid. Further, I agree in this case that the trial court's comments about Peter's belief in the existence of 2020 election fraud went beyond relevant considerations for her sentencing. Her offense was not her belief, however misguided the trial court deemed it to be. In the existence of such election fraud, it was her deceitful actions in her attempt to gather evidence of such fraud. Indeed, under these circumstances, just as her purported beliefs underlying her motive for her actions were not relevant to her defense, the trial court should not have considered those beliefs relevant when imposing sentence. Importantly, your application demonstrates taking responsibility for your crimes and a commitment to follow the law going forward. For these reasons, I'm commuting your sentence. The commutation will change your future. It is up to you to make the most of this opportunity. Now, Tina Peters wrote on X Friday afternoon following all this. Thank you, Governor Polis. I made mistakes, and for those I am sorry. 5 years ago, I misled the Secretary of State when allowing a person to gain access to county voting requirements. That was wrong. I have learned and grown during my time in prison, and going forward, I will make sure that my actions always follow the law, and I will avoid the mistakes of the past. I strongly condemned it when people not connected to me threatened to storm the prison I am in. I myself have faced threats, so I also want to be clear that I condemn any and all bullying, threats, and acts of violence against voters, county clerks, election workers, and other public officials and concerned citizens like myself. Upon release, I plan to do my best through legal means to support election integrity and based on my own personal experience to elevate the cause of prison reform to help ensure the detention system is more fair and equitable for people of all ages. My experiences have given me a perspective that I plan to share with others to improve Colorado's correction system. I am grateful for a second chance and an earlier release, and I look forward to doing good in the world. Wow. What a Friday. The governor, Tina Peters, Bill, your reactions to this.
I like the fact that we saw or heard some contrition in that statement for Tina. I don't think it's necessarily as far as it could go, but it's much further than she was. So I'll take it. That's okay. I think Polis did tactically the right thing because the judge was going to have to probably get down to about a 5-year sentence, 5 to 6 years, probably going to be including most of what she had already served. If Polis steps in and does this, it's twofold. One, he takes the heat off of the judge that has to rule again, because there are going to be all sorts of questions, and we had them already on the show, about how come the same judge gets to make the same choice about the same ruling. And that's normally what happens, but people are going to be angry anyway, no matter what he rules. They're going to say, well, he's just trying to protect her, he's trying to save himself, or whatever it is. So Polis provides some insulation for the judge, and Polis is leaving office, so he does have a little bit of political capital that he can burn. And this seems reasonable. This would be something that if Polis has other plans in politics, this at least would not be an albatross that some would be able to hang around his throat. They would be able to say, hey, he can say, I did X, Y, and Z. Now, some people on the super left could probably go after him and will, but I don't think that's what he's really worried about as far as the election. He's got to play to the middle and the right if he's going to want to get another elected position inside of Colorado. So this makes a lot of sense and seems practical, which is not something we have to say about the governor at all, ever.
Really? Yeah,
it seems
practical.
both sides seem way too reasonable in this one. I'm like, wow, we're actually acting like adults on both sides. This is surprising. Yeah, after everything else we've been through. Yeah.
So folks on the right are going to say it's not far enough. It should be a full pardon. Tina Peters, a whistleblower, was just trying to expose what she thought was corruption, and she was charged for it. She should get not just a commutation, a full pardon. Those on the left saying that this is an injustice. In fact, a man running for Attorney General of Colorado, his name, David Seligman, wrote this: I'm calling on the General Assembly of Colorado to vote to reconvene for special session for the purpose of impeaching or censuring the governor of Colorado. The governor commuted Tina Peters' sentence after the legislative session, likely in an effort to avoid accountability for misconduct. Misconduct. The people of Colorado are demanding accountability. What I find fascinating in all this is she ain't the only one that got commuted.
Yeah.
And in fact, I'm going to see if we can talk to Darren Weekly or George Brockler tomorrow about a man that was commuted who was trying to kill cops.
Yeah. So it's not the only one. And it's Tina Peters, but this is politics. And so you start coming out about the guy that was trying to kill the police officers. That's not as good politics.
Well, I find it interesting that the left is not calling for a special session to impeach the governor for the commutation of murderers.
Well, because...
But Tina Peters...
Well, here's the reason.
That deserves to be impeached.
But if we said the guy's name, you would know it. That's the issue. It's all politics. It's because it's Tina Peters. That's the entire reason, is they're trying to make hay based on it being Tina. And for all the people that want a full pardon, I mean, she does say that she made mistakes. She's taking as close to ownership of things that she did illegally. And whether or not you think that she was trying to do this for the greater good, remember, she didn't uncover that greater good. There's nothing there. So if you're going to take a greater good defense, meaning that I had to break the law in order to affect this greater good to happen, you need to have the greater good happen. She had nothing, and that's incredibly important in this conversation, is that none of her reports or anything else showed anything as far as election fraud. I know that there are a lot of people out there that still believe wholeheartedly, and that's okay. they can talk about the Easter money and some other stuff. So that's just based on her reports. It just didn't happen. So based on her reporting, you can believe other stuff outside of other things, but just those specific things, she didn't have the goods. So, sitting there and complaining about it and that she had needed a full pardon, what she did was a crime. And in some ways in that statement, she admits that she did things that, well, she calls them mistakes, but yeah, they were crimes. And she needed to be punished for those. 9 years, too far. 9 years is too far. And it's basically time served. She gets out here in a couple of weeks. And it's going to it would take them a couple of weeks to process her anyway if she get the sentence changed. So this makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense and should make more people happy. But I find it very funny that legislators want to bring Polis in and try to impeach him and, God forbid, censure him. A censure doesn't mean anything. So you're going to waste time. You're wasting time and taxpayer money and other lawmakers' times to accomplish something that doesn't do anything other than making you feel like you have said something out loud. It's just stupid. And he's not going to be impeached over this. Again, he's leaving office. Why would you possibly impeach him over this? Doesn't make any sense.
We
Makes
have
no
to
sense.
send a message. Here's Michael Bennett in response to Governor Jared Polis' decision to commute Tina Peters' sentence. Michael Bennett has released the following statement.
Did he say, I think you'll be a good senator?
Hear ye. Yeah.
Just saying. I still think if Bennett gets the governor's office,
they're going to appoint Jared.
Polis is going to be the senator. I just think so. I just think in a guy that would make a great senator, I'm just surprised he doesn't lead with that.
Let me know if you think he still feels this way after this. Tina Peters knowingly broke the law, undermined our elections, and was rightfully convicted by a jury of her peers. I vehemently disagree with Governor Polis' decision to commute her sentence. Lawlessness only breeds more law.
That's funny.
Lawlessness only breeds more lawlessness. With President Trump continuing to attack Colorado. Oh, yeah, you got to throw Trump in here. We must do everything we can to stand strong for our institutions and the rule of law. What drives me crazy about progressives and on this stuff is there's no outrage with regards to the fact that Jared Polis has now commuted, and John Hickenlooper did, violent murderers. Like people that took the lives of innocent people. Right? Where lawlessness only breeds more lawlessness. That you don't see the outrage on that. What you do see, rage on, is the notion that a political opponent had their sentence commuted. It's like it comes with the territory of being a Marxist in my mind. Like, show me the man and I'll show you the crime type of stuff. If you're an actual violent criminal, we'll come up with every excuse. You didn't have the same education we all did. Your dad wasn't around. It's like they will come up with every reason to try to justify letting out an actual violent human being back into our streets. But if you're a political opponent who didn't actually bring about violence on anybody, but were a threat to the political establishment, well, now the fullness of your term must be met. Otherwise, it's an injustice.
Yeah, I disagree with the idea of putting Tina Peters as a threat to the political establishment. I don't think she had anything. She was bothersome, annoying, and did some illegal stuff in order to foment part of a lie that had a bunch of people show up at the Capitol in January and get off a chain. So I don't think that's necessarily the same. And I do think that both sides play the show me the man, I'll show you the crime. Let's remind the audience of the dude that was accused of felony sandwich. So he threw a sandwich at an ICE agent, and they charged him with a felony for a sandwich. They had to downgrade it to misdemeanor.
Still more violent than anything Tina did.
What I'm saying is, they lost. They had to downgrade it to a misdemeanor, and they lost in court. So the idea that both sides not going after their political enemies and finding and inventing certain crimes, I think we're both doing it right now. I think both sides absolutely are. We could even put, I think, James Comey and the Seashells on the table as well, talking about an invented crime.
Still more violent than Tina Peters.
And I think that's the point, is that where this is lost in Michael Bennett's argument is the idea of lawlessness, is of the things that the vast majority of the electorate should be concerned about and are concerned about day to day. Tina Peters isn't going to be number one. Even when Tina Peters was running around free and still was speaking and still talking about election fraud, she still isn't public enemy number one, nor does she have a greater impact on a large majority of the listeners. And I think that's the problem where Michael Bennet gets it. He's playing politics to the primary voters.
Yes.
He's playing, and what he's
100%.
trying to do is he's doing lawlessness. He's trying to roll in and take some, he's trying to scrape a little bit of the law and order idea out of Phil Weiser, because that's where Phil Weiser is leaning right now. Is he's the law and order guy? I'm suing Donald Trump.
That's just the craziest
thing.
It's
absolutely crazy. It's absolutely crazy because he's defining law and order and fighting for you as going after Trump.
Donald Trump.
Yeah, not going after a person breaking into cars.
At it. They see him as the biggest criminal out there,
and
instead of the guy stealing your car from you.
The hardcore primary voters. That's what they're thinking, and so I think it's very, very poor for Michael Bennet to say this idea is lawlessness. It's nothing, and it's also inside of the system. And the fact that he doesn't talk about any other people that were pardoned as well or had their sentences commuted, that's a problem, because it seems like he's only worried about this one. And as you outline, you can go through other people, and there are some others you're like, maybe having this person in the general population isn't necessarily the best idea.
You're exactly right. And it was on the same day. On the same day.
Exactly.
Murderers had their sentences commuted, and you don't see the outrage. Well, do you believe that Jared Polis was correct to commute Tina Peters' sentence? Would you have liked to see a full pardon? Was this injustice brought upon the state of Colorado, and Jared Polis needs to be impeached? Give us a call. Join the conversation, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line at 720-819-5115. Speaking of that, here are some of the text messages this morning. 6288, too bad Tina Peters wasn't an illegal alien. She would have never been sentenced to any time, even if she had raped and killed someone. These Democrats need to get off their high horses and start working for the people of Colorado. We got bigger problems than Tina Peters. Good text message, 6288. Iggy texting in. Oh, gosh. Other things. Iggy's having a conversation with Billy on this.
Oh, yeah, he is.
Choo-choo. Here comes Bill with the TDS train down the track.
What? No, tell me what's TDS about that. What did I say that was incorrect? I understand it's super easy to just say TDS, but did I say anything there that is inaccurate based on the Department of Justice and who they're filing lawsuits against? Also, we have over 62 lawsuits and over 250 audits and several investigations, some done by Donald Trump's actual Department of Justice, some done by his campaigns. Nobody's turned up the election fraud. So if you want to clarify what you mean by TDS, I'm open for it. But right now, you're just throwing rocks. You can do better.
8422, Governor Polis did an interview on CNN and made the claim that the Tina Peters conviction had absolutely nothing to do with the 2020 election. And Trump, he claimed it was something that happened with an election in 2021. The person doing the interview paused but didn't ask any follow-up questions. Well, both are right. It has to do with both 2020 and then an off-year election that took place right afterwards. It wasn't like right after the November election, Tina Peters went and grabbed everything. It was when the subsequent election took place that she wanted to go back and try to get the information.
The timeline is that because of things that she assumed had happened in the 2020 election, she felt the next election was going to be fraudulent. And so what she did is she took the stuff that is post-2020 election and she gave them to a guy that had no legal standing or ability to have them and let them leave the building, of which it is not her information to distribute. She does not have the power or ability to distribute that information because it does not belong to Tina Peters. It belongs to the state of Colorado and the voters. And that's what she did. She let that out into the wild, and that's where she got legally sideways. It was about what was coming up in 2021, but the stuff she took was from 2020. That's kind of why it goes back and forth between the two. And remember, her claims were at the core about the 2020 being stolen, that she had the proof, and that's what her reports are about, is that the machines, according to her, show the steal happening in 2020, but she did it prior to 2021, and that is the causal effect.
And what she got convicted on was falsifying information in an effort to influence an elected official, and that
and a bunch
was,
of other stuff.
That was the same charge brought against a state senator that was falsifying letters in an effort to try to get out of an ethics investigation.
Yeah.
And that state senator just got probation.
Yeah, and I
upon
think
that conviction.
part of the I think difference in the sentencing was one number of people involved. As far as the state senator, there seems to be only one or two people involved, where Tina helped foment an entire conspiracy that involved a number of people, also included communications on a channel that basically can be erased. It's a signal chat, and a whole bunch of other stuff to lay out a plan and ask other people inside of the office to go ahead and affect crimes like taking a server out of the room. So the actions that Tina took are larger than what the state senator did, but probation versus some of the 9 years is absolutely is absolutely that's a huge difference and is not reasonably explained.
8422. That sandwich was wrapped in aluminum foil.
That's fantastic. Good.
Tina Peters was on an ankle monitor. A reminder from 1062 texting in, and then 2-channel Mike responded, "You got TDS anytime air is coming out of your mouth." All right. It's already spicy on Monday. Feel free to jump in on the conversation. We'll continue. Let's talk Rocky Mountain Bargains. The Jeff and Bill Show is giving our listeners exclusive access to huge discounts at incredible summer camps in Colorado Springs. For a limited time, get 30% off or more at Soccer House Summer Camps, Pro Football Camp for girls and boys, Eagle Lake Day Camps, Valley Christian Academy Summer Camps. Don't pay retail. Save big money. Get 30% off or more on summer camps at RockyMountainBargains.com. Spots are going fast, so hurry. Go to RockyMountainBargains.com for complete details. More of the Jeff and Bill Show to come with your phone calls and texts. We're talking Tina Peters and the commutation that took place over the weekend. You're listening to us on 710 KNUS in Denver.
AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. As we're here both sides, we are the Jeff and Bill Show.
truly got away, but not too far. Just a relaxing drive from the Denver metro area across the open Colorado.
$710 KNUS in Denver.
AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range. This is the Jeff and Bill Show. We hear both sides. Big Friday announcement. The governor of Colorado writing to Tina Peters. I'm informing you that I'm granting your application for a commutation. Do you agree with the commutation that Tina Peters can be released on a parole effective June 1st, 2026? Is this a wise decision? The right claiming it needs to be a full pardon. The left claiming that this is an injustice. And that, in fact, one candidate for attorney general calling for the impeachment of Jared Polis over this injustice. Does this actually affect your life? That's one of the comments coming in. We got bigger things to worry about in Colorado than a county clerk. So did Jared Polis make the right decision? Let's go to the phone lines. Marcus in Aurora. Good morning, Marcus. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Good morning.
Nothing like waking up with Jeff and Bill. Best show in town.
Oh,
thank you, Marcus. Good morning. What's on your mind?
Well, you know, I look at Donald Trump, the art of the deal. The state of Colorado needs that relief money for disaster and everything. I think that's part of it. And I heard a man say something that's kind of interesting. Who is Tina Peterson going to support in the election? Is it going to be Victor Marks or who? And so that fascinates me.
Yeah, I'll be intrigued to see who she ends up supporting. Now, will she be able to vote?
I don't think so. I don't, because
felon,
her sentence is commuted, but it's not a full pardon. So the fact that she's a felon, no, she won't be able to vote. The big question is, now, Marcus, let's say you're Tina Peters and you're coming out of prison at this point, do you get involved in the GOP primary, or is it smarter to just wait and then try to help the eventual GOP candidate get elected? Again, what would you do?
Well, if I was Tina, and Donald Trump and everything, no, she's going to get involved. You know it. I know it. So
I think so too. I don't think she can help but get involved. But I don't know. Also, it would be a way for her to get herself back into the conversation. I don't know, but I'm not certain. Okay, here's the thing. I don't know Tina Peters' heart nor her mind at this point. So it's not fair for me to say that she's going to get involved because I don't know how prison might have impacted her or even the trial. If this was prior to trial, I would think so. But post-trial, I'm not certain. And I'm not certain that the trial makes her gun shy, but it may be the point where now coming out of prison, she may think that at this point in the primary, it's just not the right point or time to get involved.
Well, one of the intriguing aspects on this is her focus on prison reform. And what it brought me back to was a name, Chuck Colson. Remember that name? Chuck Colson was Richard Nixon's fix-it man, and it was often said that he would have run over his own grandmother for Richard Nixon if he needed to. That's how committed to the cause he was. And then he comes out an evangelical, Bible-believing Christian, focused on prison reform after he saw what happened, had a real change of heart in there. So you never know what God can do in these circumstances. And I found it interesting that she wanted to emphasize prison reform when she came out.
That would
not
actually
necessarily the most conservative cause.
No, but that would be a really interesting message coming from her. The idea that I did something, I ended up doing this, and it was a simple mistake. And because of that, here's what I learned during my time in prison.
Right.
This is what happens, and this is why. And I think where she might be able to provide the best insight is, here's our problem with recidivism. Here's what I see inside. Here's why the people coming out continue to go back to doing these crimes. And the people that she talked to in prison that were in that cycle, in that system, that it was get in for 7 years, get out for a couple, come back in for 4, get out for a couple, go back in for 3, get out for a couple, come back in for 7. Look at that. And they could be, and if she does, think about how strong that voice is. Think about just universally across
it's
Colorado.
right up there with Chuck's.
Yes.
Where you go.
Yep. If she comes out and says, my cause now is prison reform, this isn't Democrat, this isn't Republican, this is that it sucks, and the reason that we can't get these people out and become productive members is because this is what happens inside.
Marcus, I'll give you the final word. Polis, make the right decision here?
I agree so, and I look at Tina can't have a weapon. She's a felon.
Yeah, that's true. And can't vote. Hey, Marcus, thanks, man.
Marcus, thank you for the phone call. Jump in on the conversation, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law Text line at 720-819-5115. Let's go to Brad in Highlands Ranch. Good morning, Brad. You're on with Jeff and Bill.
Good morning.
Good morning, Jeff and Bill. What a beautiful cloudy day we got going on out here.
Man,
but appreciate the opportunity to have my voice heard. You know, I've been following this case since the beginning. And have you guys had a chance to look at tinapeters.us? Either one of you?
I think so, briefly, but I don't know it that well. Yeah.
Okay, so anyone who has an opinion about Tina Peters should probably dive into that website and take a look at. It's not opinion. There's real documentation. It's real
What
facts.
documentation? What is it?
Well, you're going to have documentation on the emails, on the CORAs, on the case, on the filings, on the data that was discovered, and why she did it. And the issue is that when we go to talk about Tina Peters, we bring up a whole political scenario, and of what, like I heard Billy earlier talk about what Tina did. Okay, the problem is Tina did one thing, and one thing only. Is she altered a badge? That's it. Okay.
That's not true.
That was not.
That's not true.
No,
she did
there's
other
more
stuff.
No. What other stuff did she do?
She hired a guy for a position inside the department.
Not illegal.
And hang on.
Not illegal.
Gave his identification to somebody else that was not authorized to be in that building. During a time in which the security cameras were turned off, she brought those people in at dark and had them download information off of those servers and then remove it from the facility.
Perfect.
She also, Brad, that's not allowed. Not in that situation.
No, it is allowed. Let me explain to you what's going on.
Brad, hang on.
Do you know who?
No, Brad, hang on. She's not allowed to take that stuff off the premises and the property. There are backup systems that are authorized, and there's a process and procedure that's authorized. She went outside of that. She also fomented a conspiracy, as we talked about earlier, to talk to other people outside regular channels of communication. If she's doing her job, Brad, you don't go outside regular channels of communication if it's something that is inside of your job. Let me just say this to you, Brad. If your boss comes to you and says, hey, I need help getting access to this server that is in this room that is monitored by security, and we can't take stuff out of there. Would you help me taking one of the servers out of that room? That would be illegal. That is what Tina Peters asked some of the people that are working in that office to do. She also then got a guy inside there, outside of security, that wasn't authorized to be there, introduced him as the other person, so actually falsified and talked to their people in the office, introduced him as someone that he wasn't, brought him back later, and had him then take the information outside of the system, and it wasn't allowed. We can keep going, and then it was released into the wild. All of that stuff's illegal. She can't do that.
When you're done, let me know.
Okay, your turn.
All right. Do you know who Conan Hayes is?
Yep.
Okay. Do you know Conan Hayes was a federal informant?
Yep.
That's a true fact. I have the documents. It's all on tinapeters.us.
Yep.
He's a federal informant. Now, hold on. You've asked the county to help you, the county attorneys, the county IT, the county commissioners. You've asked them all to help you because you are being you help you capture the data at real time during a time period when there's a rebuild. So you've asked the county to help you, and they've all said no. You've gone to Matt Crane, heard nothing from him. You've asked help from everywhere and everyone, but your job title tells you you are supposed to capture this. You are supposed to maintain it, and you're supposed to be the arbiter over it.
Hey, Brad, I got a question for you. Got a question. Brad,
can I finish?
Nope, not at all. Nope, I got a question for you. And this is the reason why, Brad, is because you're talking about what Tina Peters is doing.
You're impossible to talk to.
No, Brad, I'm going to ask you a question. Did any
You don't want to know the truth.
Brad,
you don't want to look into the data.
Brad,
you don't want to look at the web.
Okay, you make this assumption, Brad, that I haven't spent the last 5 years looking through this crap. You make the assumption I haven't gone through reports.
You have no. I said never looked at her evidence.
No, Brad. See, this is the problem. You're not listening, man. I appreciate the phone call, but you're simply not listening.
Earlier on
in this conversation, I said.
And you interrupt me.
Earlier on in this conversation, Brad, I said I have not visited it recently, but I've been there. That was what I had said. Now, Brad, tell me this. Brad, tell me this. Brad, no, tell me this. Brad, answer this question, and then you can continue. Brad, okay? Here's the deal. How come every other county? How come every other county clerk was able to capture this data that you say Tina Peters couldn't? How come every other county clerk in Colorado had the ability to do this, but she didn't? Why were they special?
They didn't capture it.
Yes, they did, Brad.
They did not capture real-time data. No, they didn't.
Brad, they captured the data that is supposed to be data. They captured the data. They captured the data. They captured the data that is supposed to be held on to based on federal and state law.
All right, we've got to get up against the break here.
But she has nothing. Brad, she has nothing.
Can Brad have the final word real quick?
Brad's gone. We're done.
Okay.
No.
All right. Well, I mean, Brad, I appreciate you giving out the website so people can go there. TinaPeters.us.
Yeah, and all
I thought
other.
Brad made a good little compelling argument.
He made no compelling argument because every other county clerk had the ability to capture that data, and somehow Tina Peters lacked the ability and knowledge. She never finished her early training course. That's the core of that, where Brad is going. She didn't know what she was doing. She didn't know how to capture the data. She had no idea what she was doing, and that's why she couldn't. Every other county clerk, including the Republicans, were able to capture that data. Yet somehow she didn't, and she had to foment an illegal scheme in order to do so. It's ridiculous.
TinaPeters.us. Thank you, Brad. All right, we will continue. Goodness, it's already spicy, and this is going to be one of the wildest shows. We got Victor Marks coming up, Lauren Boebert. We got Tina Peters' attorney coming in studio. We got some glass between Billy and the attorney.
Oh, he'll be fine. I mean, she's been cut loose. What's going to happen? I mean, I got no beef with him at all.
The debate is happening here on the Jeff and Bill Show. Plus, you choose the news. Coming up, you're listening to us on 710 KNUS in Denver.
AM 1460, FM 101.1, The Answer in Colorado Springs. As we're here both sides, we are the Jeff and Bill Show.
710 KNUS in Denver.
AM 1460, FM 101.1, the answer in Colorado Springs.
All along the Front Range. This is the Jeff and Bill show where you literally hear both sides. And good job to Brad and Bill for jumping into that. The debate will continue. Now it's time for a little bit of levity with Bill Thorpe. You choose the news.
Yes, it is that time of the morning where we make the questionable decisions. Nope, that is the wrong sounder. That's the right sounder. This is great. I'm doing great. It's a Monday morning. This is You Choose the News, America's favorite fake radio news game show. You know how this works. I browse the interwebs for mere moments this morning to find really dumb stories about us humans and then slap these headlines on them so that we can play this fake radio news game show. And as always, Blake Olson is joining us from the news department. Why do we waste time this early in the morning? Well, because nobody that has any power at all wakes up until 7 o'clock. We are left completely unsupervised, and this is what we've chosen to do, so shh, it's just a giant secret. Alrighty, here we go. Now, Jeff is in the studio, Blake Olson in the news department. Gentlemen, your headlines this morning. Headline number 1, winners and losers. Headline number 2, career training. Headline number 3, Simeon surprise. And headline number 4, greetings, my lord. Mr. Hunt,
Let's start with winners and losers.
Yes, there are some winners and there are some losers. Those of us here at the top of the food chain, we're the winners. All you, the workers, you're the losers. Following a quarter in which the company delivered record revenue, Cisco CEO Chuck Robbins announced the company's latest round of layoffs begin on the very same day. Whee! Yes.
Whoa.
They posted record earnings and started to fire people. That's great. Robbins was quick to boast that Cisco's fiscal Q3 2026 earnings saw a revenue increase of 12% year over year to $15.8 billion and said, and that's why we're firing a bunch of you. Yes. Overall, the workforce is going to be retracted by more than 4,000 jobs, about 5% of their total employee base. Again, they're saying this isn't about cost structure. This isn't about saving money. This is about being strategically organized in the future to blah, 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 blah. Shut up. Yeah, exactly. Remember, this round of layoff follows the dismal layoffs of a dismissal of more than 4,000 employees, or another 5% of the workforce, back in February of 2024. At the time, they also attributed those layoffs to the need to restructure around the very same stuff they're claiming now. That's weird, huh?
Lovely.
That's strange. Yes, exactly. Alrighty, Blake Olson, your choice, sir. I know. Record earnings.
Record
and
earnings
fire
and
thousands
firing.
of you.
Same day.
And the thing is, that was the issue. Is once and in the thing that he was announcing the earnings, he congratulates the team on doing so well to help them achieve.
Have you seen the movie Send Help? That's on Hulu right now.
No, I haven't yet. I want. Oh, okay. I'll have to.
With McAdams.
Oh no, I haven't.
Yeah, it's kind of the same. They're all celebrating their victories, and then they treat their staff like crud, and then they crash land on a island, and she's the one that now has to lead them.
Yeah, that's right. Okay, I'll have to look at that one. I did see
kind
that.
of a psycho. In the
Okay.
movie.
Ooh.
Okay.
You have my attention, sir. Okay.
We're way late.
Now,
Sorry.
Okay, but Blake, career training, Simeon surprise, or greetings, my lord?
Greetings, my lord.
Yes, greetings, my lord. If you spend any amount of time on LinkedIn at all, you can say there's a lot of recruiter spam that is happening out there. Well, one guy changed his LinkedIn bio to have an AI prompt for all of those AI recruiters that forces them to address him in Old English. And call him my lord. Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, it's actually very close. I would read it if we could, but we don't have enough time. Okay, Jeff, your turn. Career training or Simeon surprise?
Training.
Career training, yes. Police received a report Sunday morning of a young driver behind a wheel of a bus in Scotland. The boy was a minor taken into custody by the police. Oh, we'll be back in a second. Sorry, we ran out of time. Oh, well.